Alright, welcome back everyone, Zaf here to an updated Battlefield time guide for the Hobgoblin. I do have 3 builds in this video to cover, that way ensure you use the best build possible to get the best time out there, and I do want to quickly apologize for the delay on this upload, just because for the past week, I was visiting some sick family members, but we are back at it yet again, so let's cover everything you know. I know a lot of you are new to this game mode. Do note, the Battlefield time is a pay-to-win game mode. You do have to have the highest weapon advancements, the highest weapon skill levels, and also the highest skill levels when it comes to your actual skills, including their rarities. That's what influences your damage the most, including your hunter advancements and their weapon advancements. So do note, when it comes to this mode, these are things that matter the most. When it comes to your artifacts, the levels do not matter, the stats do not matter too. It is just the set effect, just like our cores. The only thing we're looking at is these set effects here, so do not worry what the stats are. They can be anything useless. It only matters that you're running a full set of Warmongers and Obsidian, the best set for JINWOO for this game mode. When it comes to your Spore Hunters, run these sets here. These are essentially the global artifact sets you will be running on your Spore Hunters when it comes to JINWOO. Very important. These give us the best stats out there. And again, when it comes to your cores, only 2 of them really matter for JINWOO. This one here, giving us a 5% attack passive bonus. But remember, when it comes to stats here, these do not matter. Only this stat here matters. So make sure it is for JINWOO, and also make sure it has the 5% attack bonus. And for the bottom one here, you can run either this one here, giving us a mana consumption reduction, or this one, giving us some instant mana if you need it. Generally speaking, you won't need it, but do take note of that. Those are the only cores that matter. When it comes to your blessing zones, run these for the shield effect proc. That way, the Guardian set does activate, giving us that juicy 10% damage increase. Very important. Life previously didn't work, but now it does work, giving us that instant 10% bonus when we spawn into the map. And when it comes to your blessing stones for this game mode, do not run Reawakening. We do not need a cooldown reduction. We do need it for other game modes, but for this version of the Battlefield time, for Hobgoblin, we don't need it. Other game modes, obviously, when it comes to the bosses, it was useful, but this time around, we don't need it. So we want to get as much attack as possible, running into it with 200 intelligence if you have it to legendary. Very important. You can also run these 2 here, giving us more attack, 16% each. Very important. And for our last one, we are running Bloodlust, giving us that defense reduction, helping us out so much for this one. Very important. If you are missing any of these, you can run, for example, Weakness Selection. It does help out too. You can run Boss Slayer. It's not too bad, giving us a 20% damage increase to the boss. Helps out too. I wouldn't really recommend Sharp Perception, although it is very good. We want to get RNG on our side to ensure we get the best time possible. Obviously, this will give you more consistent runs, but still, you want to run attack. That way, you can get better times out there just by repeating the run over and over again to ensure you get that crit coming in. Although, if you don't want to do that, you can run Sharp Perception, giving you that crit right off the bat. Very important to note. And that should be everything minus our skills. For this run here, we have some options. For me, I ran Magnifying Slashes with this Liberation skill, the Commander's Touch. You can also run this skill here. When it comes to Dagger Rush, Dispersion works out so well. I have both guides for this video that we can watch and compare which one works best for you, but they're both fine. I do run Magnifying Slashes for all 3 runs just because it is such an OP skill. So let's jump in. That should be everything covered minus our shadows. When it comes to your shadows, running Biru, running Kaisel, and running Ingress are very helpful just because they are our strongest shadows. They actually influence your time on this run, so very, very important. Although Biru and Min's passive don't stack, Biru is a very strong shadow, just like Kaisel and Ingress. These are basically our strongest shadows out there. I know you want to run Serbi, which you can. You can replace Igris for Serbi. That's up to you. It does take a very long time for Serbi's effective proc off, that being the 5% bonus, so you might not really see it into play. You might not see the effect apply, so that's why we do run Igris. And also when it comes to Biru, we do get crit damage and attack increase. Not too bad at all. Pretty strong. You can of course run Big Rock 2 or Blades. These all work as well. Up to you. Whichever shadow has the best authority, that one is the one you want to use, but Biru works fine. Big Rock works too. Igris works too if you want crit coming in. These are all good shadows, so do note, you do have a lot of options. When it comes to your shadows overall, they do influence your damage, but not to a crazy degree, so don't worry too much, but make sure for sure, run Kaisel, They do nuke the boss, so they're very helpful, but that's everything. Let's jump in to build guide number 1. That way you can see exactly what we did, and I'll cover every single other guide to ensure you get the best time possible. Alright, for this first guide, we're using Liberation. This is our 26-second run, so when you spawn in, use Isla, very important. And don't worry, I will have the regular speed run after this one, just so you can watch. So, we use Isla right away, we dash forward. You want to go to around this spot here to use Liberation, that way you can hit these mobs here. Then you want to walk forward this way to hit all these mobs here as well. Then you can use your QT skill to ensure you clear that last mob, which you cannot hit if you use Liberation, though you can if you go all the way to the right and start off, but this way is a bit faster. So we walk in, use Liberation, boom, then walk to the side here just a bit, use it again, and then you can run forward just a tiny bit, and then use your QT here, use it, and then boom, this mob dies. Then you want to use Malin to get the QT proc off again. Watch very carefully. We use Malin, boom, our QT comes up. We walk forward here, just wait a bit if you want, use a skill, and both mobs are cleared. You can do this faster, around the 8 to 9 second mark, but I just did mine slowly just to make sure you can see it, and also my server is very weak, so no matter what time I get, it is always first place. And now we have the Hobgoblin. So you want to use Shadows right away, then use Shadow Step. Then you want to proceed to use your Grimoire and Min. You want to make sure you don't use Min early on, just because for Min's passive to proc off, they do have to hit the target, very important. So Min's going to spawn in, we're going to use Grimoire. You can dash out of it, and boom, once the effect applies, dash. Use your Magnifying Slashes. As you can see here, we used it once. We got a 200 mana bonus. Now you can either dash or spam it. In my case, I dash to get one more effect of the Amplifying Draw coming in, giving us more damage. And as you can see here, we had one more mana pop-up coming in, and we're going to use it again for the third mana pop-up. That way you know for a fact you did it right. If you're only getting 2 mana pop-ups, you are not using Magnifying Slashes correctly. So do note, I do have a dedicated video on this. Down below, I'll link it. So please make sure you use the skill correctly, otherwise you're losing out on so much damage. But you can see here, the boss just gets melted. Our Kaisel comes in, deals lots of damage too, and then we hit it once, and boom. That would have been a faster run. The RNG was not in our favor, but as you can see there, it was a very clean run. We got 26 seconds, so let's jump into guide number 2, but let me play this at regular speed, just so you can see what's going on. So here it is at regular speed. We're going to jump in, use our Isla first off, boom, dash, 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 Liberation, walk forward, Liberation, QT, Malin, use your QT again, watch very carefully, and boom, QT. Now we wait, use our Shadows, use Shadow Step, use Min, and then dash. But first using Grimoire, of course, watch very carefully, Shadow Step, using Min and Grimoire, dash, Magnifying Slashes, dash, magnifying, Liberation, and done. So a very clean run. Let's do guide number 2, that we can see our next best build. So this run starts a bit differently, watch very carefully. We're going to use Malin, dash, dash, use our Dagger Rush skill on the mobs to the left, watch very, very carefully, dash, dash, Dagger Rush. Then we're going to the side here, using our QT, and then using Isla. You can delay when you use Isla. If you use Isla too fast, it will ruin your QT, so please make sure, wait just a bit before using Isla. You can use it just before your QT skill. That way, Isla's knockup effect doesn't ruin how your QT works. Very important, trust me. That will ruin your run, this airborne effect here. But let's jump in, let's continue. As you can see here, all the mobs are cleared very fast. I want to go back and show you it one more time, just because there is a lot going on, so watch very carefully. Malin, dash, dash, Dagger Rush. Then you want to walk to the side, and then use Isla, and then use your QT, making sure it's at the same time. And then you saw there, this mob got cleared too with our QT, so you want to make sure you use it at the correct time and the correct placement to make all the mobs die. That way, there is one mob spawning behind us. You want to use your Plum skill here to ensure that clears. So boom, we're going to basically attack towards us, very spooky, using Plum, dash, Plum, and boom, watch HP. That mob is dying off screen, and done. Off screen that mob. Next up, when it comes to Hobgoblin, the exact same setup as our last build, so watch very carefully. We're going to use our Shadows, use Grimoire, use Min, dash, use Magnifying Slashes, and that's basically it, ensuring the boss dies. So watch here, we're using Shadow Step, using Min, using Grimoire. Then we're going to dash, watch very carefully, dash, use Magnifying Slashes, dash again, magnifying, 2 mana pop-ups, and done. Again, with good RNG, that would have been way faster, but in my case, I didn't crit, so that's okay. We got 23 seconds. Again, not too bad. You can get a much faster time depending on how fast you clear phases 1 and 2, and also if you're lucky with that bonus damage from the magnifying slashes. But that's build number 2. Let me show you in regular speed, just because we want to show both methods. Okay, here's the regular speed again, very fast melee, dagger rush, we're using QT and Anila, boom, very important, use your plum there, clear the last mob, and done again. That's why I do 0.5% speed. These runs are very fast, it's hard to keep up as to what's going on, but Hobgoblin, Shadow Sep, Min, Grimoire, dash, magnifying slashes dash, mag, and then QT or use whatever skill you have to clear the boss here, and done. So let's jump in and cover our last build. This one's using, well, I'll show you. You'll laugh because this weapon isn't strong to this boss, but we are using quarterstaff. Again, the same method, using liberation, using our QT, so nothing to really cover here. Again, walking forward, liberation, QT on the last mob. Then we're using Maelin for the QT proc as well. Watch very carefully. Maelin comes in. We use our QT here. Watch. Clearing both these mobs, and done. Now, it's basically the same. We're just substituting some damage in for the quarterstaff again. A very funny weapon. Extremely OP if you get the crits off. So if you're running it, make sure do attempt the run over and over again to get the right crit coming in, but in this case, we're using Shadow Sep, using Min, no Grimoire, just dash, use Magnifying Slashes, dash again if you want, magnifying, and then quarterstaff comes in. Again, I should have dashed here, that's okay, because it will die regardless, and boom, squashed. So quarterstaff is an option, a very nice weapon to use. I'm not going to play that back at normal speed just because it's the same thing. We're just using quarterstaff to ensure we get a positive time result. But if you enjoyed, make sure to drop your like, subscribe to the channel, that way I know you want more guides like this, and also make sure you support us once the supporter program opens again on this Monday, I believe. Monday's reset, so do stay tuned for that. On that note, this is your Code King Zaf signing out.